Coach, after 2 weeks, any changes to the injury report or any guys you've moved around from position to try to maybe experiment with them to get them more reps?
We haven't had a whole lot of changes since the beginning of it. I just like to speak about a couple of guys who have stood out. Javon Frazier has done pretty well here in these first 6 practices that we've had. Pleased to see that. Now we want to see if he can continue to finish that out as far as for the rest of spring practice. Antonio Gandy Golden's been very impressive, making very good progress as far as being able to catch the ball consistently. Obviously, he's a big guy and big target and all that, but I've seen a lot better consistent play out of him. Dante Duff, offensive line-wise, I see him doing very, very well. Michael Henderman is steady and doing some good things of that nature. I think the other person that's probably done well in the secondary, I think really quite a few people have done some good things in the secondary there. I think I've seen good progress by Corbin Jackson is making some steady progress. Our corners, pretty much all of those guys have done pretty well. Chris Turner there and Jeremy Peters and Tyron Holloway, they all been pretty steady. So those are some guys that have stood out. Again, we still got a long way to go. We got still quite a few guys that are we're holding out, or some guys that have been injured. We do have one person who's going to be out for a while, unfortunately there, Todd Macon. Just had surgery here just this past week. Estimated time, he'll have a shot to come back during the season, maybe sometime in October, November maybe. Again, I guess as we get further along, we can get a better estimate. Probably after a month we can kind of know what the estimation is. Obviously it's unfortunate for him and all that, but he's in good spirits. Obviously initially it was a tough blow, but again, life presents us certain things, and we hope that he can come back maybe sooner than what we're talking now, but we'll have to wait till a later date to get more specific when he'll be back.
What does that do to the rest of your running back core? Obviously, you got Frankie Hickson and Carrington Mosley, but additional depth behind them going into the season.
Well, I think we'll just have to wait and see. We have made a little bit of adjustment there with Mitchell Lewis, who he's actually moved to tight end, H-back or whatever we want to call it, and Y position that we have. With this injury here where we move him back, or right now we're going to keep him there as a tight end, Y, fullback position. We think we feel all right with what we have. Again, we have an incoming freshman who come into whether we play him or not. I still don't know those things. I think that'll all determine, what's the situation with Todd when he comes back. So we feel good about those two guys. And again, we're still continuing to go out and recruit. We've always doing that with the FBS situation. We're able to still possibly bring in some more people. So we'll evaluate that and see if there's somebody else we can bring in as a running back spot.
Does that enhance Stefan's status at all?
Yeah, Stefan, he got a little bump and bruise. He's been in and out here as far as trying to see how many reps he's going to get and all that, but no question that brings him into play. So, like I said, we got some bodies and people there that we think can be productive for us. And so we're just going to see how we finish up in the spring, and hopefully Stefan continue to get better, and all the other people too.
Was that an injury in practice to Todd? Was it some reason?
Yeah, just in practice. He just caught a ball and make a cut. There was no contact, none whatsoever. Just caught a ball out and flat and turned, and unfortunately things happen.
Some of his ankle, knee, something like that?
Knee injury.
Is there a possibility of redshirt once you look into that, or is it more or less wait a month, see what the doctors say, and then move on?
About Todd Macon?
Yes.
He falls in that unfortunate category where he has to have 2 years where he has had to have a season-ending injury. So he didn't have one before this. So he doesn't make it be eligible for that. This is it for him. This is his final year as far as his 5th year. This is his 5th year because we redshirted him, as far as myself, or made a decision to redshirt him. You don't count that as a year that he didn't play, and then this year here could be a second year where he can get the 6th year. So he's not even eligible for that. That's the unfortunate thing. Plus, as I've already kind of mentioned, it wouldn't be a season-ending injury in this case because we're talking about he could be back somewhere around October to November.
Looking at linebacker, a lot of inexperience there. How are some of the new guys coming into shape there, especially with Solomon out from spring?
They're getting a lot of reps, I can tell you that. And as far as really, we got we're at 3 to 4 guys that are getting a lot of work in at this point in time. I think they're steady. McKinney's doing all right there. We got, I probably would say, I'm not going to say they all just working hard because there's not really anybody just standing out at this point in time. And I think all of them are getting a lot of reps. And I think here in the next week or two, because they've got a lot of things going on, and we'll see what happens.
How are you gauging progress with so many guys out and just looking at some of the younger guys too? I mean, how do you gauge it from week to week?
Well, I gauge it as them getting better. We can look at that. They can look at it individually too as we watch the tape. We hopefully see some areas where they improve on. We say, what's your technique? Do you know where to line up? Are you able to make plays? Are you being productive? How many play reps you're getting, and then what kind of production are you getting? Are you around the football from defense? You may not make the tackle, but you're a factor in the play. Offensively, obviously you make the block, or you either make the cuts, or you make the catch, you make the throws, and all those things. So we can get a tremendous amount of evaluation. So in good sense, we're getting a lot of guys getting a lot of reps who may not necessarily say they're the starters at this point in time, but they may build themselves up where they are competing for a starting job. Or if they're not a starter, then they are a backup, and we say we got quite a few reps with this guy. He's ready to be able to play and put him in the game. So there's a lot of pluses about it, even though there may be quite a few guys that are not out there participating. So it's making our team better.
So you want to kind of speed things up as far as getting the calls in quicker, things like that. Have you been able to improve there?
We kind of been spot playing doing it. When I say that, because of the limited amount of bodies that we have out there, we're having to slow it down a little bit more than what we want to from an offensive perspective to make sure we get our reps. So we have kind of one period where we go a little bit more up tempo, and then we got to rest later on. So I like the way we have made some adjustments and how we are getting our information into our offensive side of the ball. That's been pleasing. We are definitely able to get it a little bit faster. Obviously, here in the first 6 days, there have been a situation where some guys have made a few more mental errors because they didn't see the signal correctly, or they didn't see it and didn't do things in the right way. So, but I like the change of the format, how we present it to our players.
With the offensive line depth being a concern entering spring, how pleased are you with the reps that those guys are getting, and are they being able to stay healthy with what you said beginning, lack of cut blocking?
Well, we're not doing a whole lot of cut blocking. I guess this Saturday we went live. I guess it was about 32 snaps, and so we're fortunate that we didn't have anybody that we lost in that situation. So we full tackled and cut blocks and so on and so forth. So I thought we did pretty good. I think the defense got a little bit tired at the end, which is somewhat understandable. We didn't have a whole lot of rotation as far as that goes. So I think there were some good things that happened. Had a couple touchdowns, kicked a 52-yard field goal, and so there were some good things. We missed one field goal, and so we had some good things and some not so good things. And I think we had one or two interceptions as far as that go, but we did have some touchdowns there that was good on one side. From a head coach's perspective, it's good to see some things good on the defense, and it's good to see some things on the offense. You don't want to see it one-sided, and that was kind of what the scrimmage was this past Saturday.
Are you guys practicing indoors yet over there? Or what's
Have not. We're just looking at it like you at this point in
Okay.
time there. So hopefully here we may have a shot here in the next about a week and a half. We'll see what happens.